Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. I'm Greer and it's lovely to have you here with me today. So I wanted to experiment with a new format on this channel, similar to a book club where I talk about books that I've read and share insights and learnings. I have done a few book related videos on this channel previously, but I want to try to make this a regular installment, so perhaps once every month. So let's give it a try and we'll see how that works. So I've read 2 books so far this year, but the one that I wanted to start off with is called Feel Good Productivity by Ali Abdaal. I've been watching Ali's videos for years. If you're not familiar with him, he is a doctor turned creative entrepreneur who is most widely known for his YouTube videos on productivity and self-improvement and achieving self-actualization. This is Ali's first book. It came out back in December, and I believe he was working on it for about 3 years. So as someone who watches his videos and reads his newsletters, I knew that I was going to pick this book up. So what is this book about? I think that there is this very toxic approach to productivity that says that you have to be a workhorse all hours of the day, and it's very much associated with hustle culture and always being on the move, always getting things done. And what Ali argues in this book is that productivity isn't about discipline. It's about doing more of what makes you happier, what makes you feel less stressed and more energized, hence the name Feel Good Productivity. So throughout the book, he touches on some of the misconceptions that we have about productivity, how those hurt us and hold us back, as well as some of the habits and behaviors that we can adopt to enjoy the work that we do, enjoy our everyday tasks and achieve a sense of fulfillment. Ali uses simple and conversational language in this book, and I almost felt like I could hear his voice coming off of the pages, and that made the experience a lot more authentic. It doesn't feel overly academic or pedantic in the way that many self-help books do, but the concepts discussed in the book are all backed up by scientific research, and so that creates a lot of credibility. What I also enjoyed and what I think added a personal touch to the writing was that we got little anecdotes from Ali's life, both as a doctor and now as a full-time creator. So here are some of the most useful tips and insights that I took away from the book. The first is approach your work with a sense of play. Now, I think that as we get older, we are expected to leave play in childhood. Playfulness is considered something that is childish and that is immature. But the truth is that we all have play personalities. So in total, there are 8 play personalities: the collector, the competitor, the explorer, the creator, the storyteller, the joker, the director, and the kinesthete. The idea is that by channeling your play personality, you're able to make your work more enjoyable by adding a touch of adventure to whatever it is that you're doing. Another way to bring enjoyment to tasks that you might find mundane or that you might be stuck on is by asking yourself, what would this look like if it were fun? And one of the ways to bring that fun into the equation is by adding side quests to your day. So if you play video games, let's take The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, for example. You know that you have a main objective, let's say that that's to save Princess Zelda, but you also have quite a few side quests that you can go on that don't necessarily drive the main narrative forward, but what they do is they allow you to explore, to tap into your curiosity about your surroundings. What would happen if I collected all the Korok seeds? What would happen if I took this path into Hyrule Field instead of this one? Ali says by adding a side quest to your day, you create space for curiosity, exploration, and playfulness, and could discover something amazing and totally unexpected along the way. What would happen if instead of just staying at your desk all day in between meetings, you decided to take a walk to the park? Maybe instead of just keeping to yourself at that coffee shop that you go to every day, you strike up a conversation with that person that you always see there, but you don't, ever really engage with. And so it's all about finding opportunities to break up the predictability of our everyday. One of the things that stops us from trying new things and giving ourselves a second chance if we've failed or made a mistake is fear, right? Fear is such a powerful emotion. We have a tendency when something goes wrong or doesn't go in the way that we expect it to just focus in on that and obsess over, what went wrong and what could go wrong in the future. And one thing that really helps in these situations is the 10-10-10 rule. So ask yourself, when you make a mistake, when you are embarrassed by something that you've done, or, when you've failed a test, ask yourself, will this matter in 10 minutes? Will this matter in 10 weeks? And will this matter in 10 years? So let's look at an example. Maybe you have to make a presentation in class. You go into the room, you start your presentation, it's going really well, you're working the room, and then you forget some of what you were supposed to say, and so you turn red, you're embarrassed, but eventually you regain your composure and you continue on and you manage to complete that presentation. And at the end of it, everyone is clapping and commending you for how good your presentation skills are and how much they learned, but all you can seem to focus on is those couple of words that you forgot on like slide 5 or something. You tell yourself, you know what, I am no good at public speaking, I am never going to be good at it. Maybe in 10 minutes a few people will remember or think about the fact that you made a blunder on slide 5. Okay, in 10 weeks it's highly unlikely that anyone's going to be thinking about that. The semester has progressed, people have new things to think about, you have more projects, you've probably had to do more presentations at this point. And in 10 years, that's going to be the furthest thing from anyone's mind. And so I think this helps you to realize that those little mistakes and those fears and those moments of embarrassment that you have are really not that impactful or important, especially when you look at the larger picture and you put things into perspective. Now, let's talk the importance of doing nothing. So in this book, Ali discusses the different types of burnout. And I think the one that we're most familiar with is where you are working so tirelessly at whatever it is that you like to achieve that eventually you run out of energy, you are running on fumes, you're in overdrive. And that happens when we refuse to take breaks, we refuse to rest, right? So Ali reiterates that taking breaks is essential. And Ali goes so far as to suggest regularly scheduling breaks and adding time for doing nothing into your calendar. So actually slotting those periods of time into your calendar. There's an anecdote that he shares about his first time working in the emergency department at a hospital and how he felt so out of his depth. And, he was just pushing through. But another doctor came up to him and said, I noticed that you haven't taken your break. You haven't taken your lunch. What Ali was expecting that doctor to do was to commend him and praise him for his dedication and for giving 110%. But that doctor actually insisted that Ali took his break. And he said, you can't be of any use to anyone if you're exhausted, but you can make more effective decisions if you take the time to recharge and refocus. No one's going to die because you were having lunch. There's always time for that. And so I think that was really eye-opening, because if the people whose job it is to save lives can take time for themselves, then it doesn't matter how many slide decks you have to prepare for your client or how many assignments you have for your history 205 class. You are entitled to stepping back, recharging, and resetting. Breaks are necessary. Breaks aren't a special treat. Breaks aren't a privilege. They are an essential. Now, there's a part of this book that deals with the social aspect of productivity, because the impact of community and the importance of letting others help you to reach your goals and helping others to reach their goals cannot be understated. So Ali talks about the helper's high, for example, which happens when feel-good chemicals like oxytocin are released in our brain when we help other people. So it could be something like helping somebody to proofread and edit an important document before they have to submit it. It could be picking someone up from the airport, or it could be just a random act of kindness. Maybe you're on your way to meet a friend and you pass a bookstore and you see a title that they've been meaning to pick up. You remember hearing them say that in a conversation, so you decide to get the book and take it for them. So it's obvious that those are things that help us to feel good. But what might not be as obvious is that this effect also works the other way around. To quote directly from the book, when we ask someone for help, it's likely to make them think better of us. It's the flip side of the transformative effects of helping others. We can ask others to help us, which will help them feel better too. Now, apart from those situations where people just want to take advantage of you and your resources, when someone asks you for help, it's likely that they respect your skills and your expertise, your knowledge. They hold you in some sort of high esteem or high regard, and they trust that you're capable of being there for them in that specific way. And so all of those things can make you feel good. And the final learning we're going to be talking about is how important it is to define success for yourself. A lot of us think that we know what success means to us, but when we really take time to think about it, we realize that a lot of the things we supposedly want for ourselves are just things that are just expectations that other people have of us, or expectations that society has of us, which is why it's so important to have tangible ways of figuring out what exactly it is that you want out of life. And one of those tools that is discussed in the book is the Wheel of Life. The Wheel of Life is a coaching framework, and how it works is you draw a circle and you divide it into 9 different slices. The idea is that each slice relates to one aspect of your life. So what you do is you go in and you rate how aligned you feel you are in each of these areas. So this creates just a general awareness and broader context for you to decide, okay, these are the areas that I know I need to work on because, let's say, for example, I haven't been keeping in contact with my family as much as I'd like, or I haven't really figured out what I want for myself in terms of a career, or, I haven't really been making strides towards being more fit or being more active. And so what you can do from there is start to determine the short-term goals or the day-to-day activities that you need to be engaging in order to achieve that alignment. And it doesn't have to stop with the Wheel of Life. There are some other methods that Ali discusses that really help you to put your life into perspective. There's one that is a little morbid, but that I think is worth thinking about. Ali has what is called the eulogy method, where you ask yourself, what would I be satisfied with? What would I be happy with someone saying in my eulogy? How would I like to be remembered? Would you like to be known for how tirelessly you worked to make money for a company? Or would you like to be remembered for how you helped people, how you made them feel? So that's the kind of thinking that an exercise like this is meant to initiate. And I know, again, that this is a bit morbid and maybe this doesn't work for you, but the idea is to think with the end in mind. So who is this book for? I will admit that I was probably not the ideal audience for this book, just because I'm already so in tune with this whole world of, productivity. I'm somebody who, like I said, I've been following Ali for years. A lot of these concepts I've already learned about through his videos, and I read his newsletters as well. So I'm already very much in tune with this world. But I think even if you're someone like me and you know a lot of these concepts already, I think it can still be a refreshing read because it looks at things from a different perspective, one that prioritizes your well-being. And again, that's often something that is overlooked in a lot of self-help books and books that talk about self-actualization. So if this book sounds like something you'd be interested in reading, I'm going to have a link to it down in the description. If you've enjoyed the video, remember to leave a like and subscribe. Comment and let me know if you're planning to pick the book up, if you've read it already, and if you did, what you thought about it. Of course, I'd be happy to hear from you down in the comment section. So take good care, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.